Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you guys for tuning into another episode of The Power of Storytelling. Today we have Anthony Ricchio on with us. Anthony is a entrepreneur that has a organization that helps clean the Earth's oceans and water sources, as well as helps individuals gain cleaner access to water as well. He has a ton of good information and we have a great conversation. So if you guys do enjoy, make sure to leave a like and follow on whatever platform you're listening on. And let's get into the conversation. Awesome. We'll just go ahead and get started. Usually what I like to do at first is kind of allow you to introduce yourself. I do want to say thank you for hopping on the podcast. It's huge to have you on here and we appreciate it. But if you just want to go ahead and introduce yourself and we'll kind of get into it.
Yeah, man. So my name's Anthony Ricchio. So I grew up out here in Orange County, California. What I'm currently doing at the moment is I am working as an entrepreneur. I've basically started my own business in the direct sales industry. I'm working specifically with some Japanese medical grade water technology that is really changing the game on hydration and how we're really treating the environment. Personally, a big thing for me is I seriously see that the health of people is directly related to the health of the planet. So if we get people healthier, we can get this planet healthier, and then we can leave a better planet for the kids that are coming after us. Because ultimately, that's what we're here to do. Is we're past, we inherited something from people before us, and we're going to be giving an inheritance to the people that come after us. So it's really important to keep that sustainability going as we move forward.
For sure, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I love that you say that. What kind of allowed you to, or what made you get into this industry, especially with the healthier water? Is it more about like helping people like hydrate themselves better with better water, or is it about like cleaning the entire earth with better water since it's less pollution?
That's a great question. I would say it really stems from the idea of, for me, it was when it first started, it was just like I was so passionate about making sure that I left my imprint here like cleaner. I got
For
like
sure.
this kind of message from my inner self that was like, hey, the ocean needs your help. And then these water devices kind of appeared in my life, and it just made sense from a sustainability aspect, and really helping people get healthy, because the water that we're encountering now in our lives is, man, it's nothing what it was to what people may have experienced in the past.
For sure.
And where some of the places that people live that have been untouched by modern civilization, that's the kind of water that they're drinking. And it's important that we get this water back into people's lives.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think that I remember a while ago I went through I forgot exactly with what like company or brand it was with, but I went through where I went like a month of drinking like super clean like water that it wasn't ever from the tap. It was from like I don't know remember exactly what it was called, but it was like a desalinizer or something like that. But basically my life literally changed almost. It felt like I was sleeping better. It felt like I had more energy. It felt like I was thinking clearer. It felt like I wasn't retaining a ton of extra water throughout my body. It was weird. But I do believe I'm a big believer in the fact that what type of water you drink and what comes in the water that you drink definitely changes the life around you. And I think that is true. I mean, with so much pollution and so much stuff going on, it's just gonna get harder for us to get access to that clean water. So I really do appreciate what you're doing. What is some things that you've seen? I mean, I can even ask this just for right now, even for tips for myself. Is what are some things that you've seen that helps people get cleaner water, or that helps filter out the water that you do have to give you cleaner water or better water?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that you can start off is obviously like start filtering your shower.
Mm.
Get a decent shower filter. When you can move up, maybe get to a whole house filter. I personally, I think it's important that we getting clean water through our source home, just because we don't really know what's in there anymore. And I encountered somebody out here in California who used to work for the water treatment plant, and he said you'd be really surprised of what's really going on in your water. Here in California, we actually drink recycled sewer water.
Oh wow.
So basically, whatever the ewg.org website says is just a fraction of what's really going on there.
Hmm.
So I mean, filtering your water is important, and then for me personally, from what I've encountered, it's like reactivating the water so it's living again.
Okay.
When water is going through a lot of these pipes that we have in our homes, that's not a natural flow. That's a forced flow. If you look at nature, water kind of just goes where it wants to go. It's going to get to where it needs to go. Ultimately, most water is looking to get back to the ocean to be a part of the water cycle. And so, yeah, I mean, filter is a great start. That's a foundation. I feel it's so important. And then bringing your water back to life, which will make it living again.
That's awesome. And kind of gonna switch topics here as well. How when did you kind of get into this area? What I know you talked about how whenever you were a little bit younger, you kind of had this calling to leave a cleaner imprint as well. What made you kind of get into actually wanting to do this, and how did you do it? Because I feel like a lot of people don't know where to start or how to start something like this. So how did you get started, and what helped you kind of get it going?
Cool. Yeah. So at the time, I was actually working as a swimming pool cleaner,
Oh well.
and I was just kind of aware of what I was doing with the water there. I was obviously using chemicals and, balancing the pH of water, and I was seeing like what was really going on. I didn't really have a clue because I grew up in high school. I was on the swim and water polo team.
Mhm.
So I was like, I was in the pool, and I knew about chlorine. But I didn't really know about it,
For
right? I
sure.
didn't really know what was going on. I didn't know what was in the pool. I didn't know what it took to actually balance that. And that's synchronistically, I just had this device kind of just found me,
Mhm.
right? And I was like, okay. I started drinking it. That was really what happened for me. I just started drinking it, and I just like kind of your experience with the water. Like I just started feeling better,
Yeah.
just felt clearer, and things that I would, normally drink were I was becoming overly sensitive to. At some point, I was so stimulated from drinking caffeine that it was just a daily habit. I mean, I could say I was addicted to it.
For sure.
And I started drinking this water, and like I was like, whoa, I need to take a step back. This is affecting me a little different. So I actually got caffeine eliminated out of my life. And yeah, I mean, I just started thinking clearer, and I just started realizing that I was here for something a lot bigger than what I was doing, because that was really kind of the turning point for me. I was like, I just got tired of this purposeless drive to just work for money.
Yeah, it's so important. You always see people working for money, and they don't get that from the fulfillment. They think that the more money they make, the more fulfilled they'll become. But in reality, finding that purpose that truly calls to you, I believe that that's truly the way to live a purpose driven life is going to help you be so much more fulfilled. I love that you say that. Uh, so I know that you said you were born and raised in California, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
So how was like family life like how was the household? Did you have both your parents there, and kind of like how did you grow up?
That's a great question. So my mom was super young when she had me. She was like 19. And I think my dad was a year younger than her. And they definitely weren't ready for a child. So there was like times where there was instability, and ultimately what ended up happening is I grew up with my grandparents
Hmm.
in their household, which was a godsend, to be honest, because it was really just grounding and foundational, and really provided me the tools necessary to, be able to grow up in a good home.
Hmm.
Um, because some of the encounters that I had seen with my mom outside of living in the home just weren't ideal and weren't something that a child should be exposed to.
For sure.
So my grandparents were definitely a gift to me.
Yeah, would you say that like trying to find like good sources of like mentorship is important, as a kid or as someone that's a little bit younger, and that you're not around maybe the best people or the best situation, trying to find different avenues of mentorship. Do you think that that's a good idea to go into, kind of like talking about what you went through?
Yeah, 100%. For most of my life, I grew up being an athlete. I played almost every sport. And I'd say my grandfather was definitely a role model and mentor for me in that aspect. I don't know if they had the intention for me to go like play professionally, but I mean, they put me in everything. And I was I mean, most of the sports I played, I was a natural at. I just didn't think that was really what I wanted to do.
For sure.
And then one thing I will mention is like the sport that I love the most, I didn't necessarily like stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I did like later on play and kind of fulfill that childhood dream of like playing something that I actually enjoyed. So yeah, I mean, mentorship is important. Um, you know, and in today's day and age, when we have access to almost any of the mentors that are out there online, like highly suggest that because I mean, you can literally YouTube somebody that's super influential and successful in making an impact in this world, and you can listen to them repeatedly and kind of imprint that mindset into your own, and it will help you tremendously because at the end of the day, like we are what we repeatedly do. So it's important to really track a good mindset for yourself, because I know that's something that I have battled with is the mindset and how I feel about myself. So anything that can empower you to be a better person and just have the mindset of knowing that you are worthy of the things that you desire in this world is important.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that. I don't think a lot of people talk about it enough about how like how much resource we do have or how many resources we have when it comes to either finding a good mentor, learning about things that you want to learn about, and applying those things. I think a lot of people spend, their days either scrolling on social media or, whatever it is that they're almost distracting themselves from really taking the time and effort to become the person that they should be becoming or the person that they truly want to be like become. I love that you say that because I believe that people should be applying more of themselves to doing what they truly love to do, even if it's scary, even if it makes them uncomfortable. Because, it's so much easier to just sit on the couch and scroll or sit in your bed and scroll versus actually trying to find a good mentor, whether it's in person or whether it's online, because you do have those resources. I mean, I just can't talk about how important it is to really start putting your mentality and all that mind capacity that you have towards something that's going to move you forward, not just keep you where you're at. That's awesome. And I know you said you were in the Air Force as well for a little bit. What are some things that you've learned throughout that time in the military that has kind of stuck with you throughout the rest of your life now?
Yeah. So I would say the power of being on a team,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because when you kind of look at your goals or you look at what's in front of you, it almost seems like you're all alone. And while your life is completely your responsibility, like it's nobody's battle with your own mind. Like nobody's going to do it for you. Like being a part of a team is so important.
For sure.
Now, you can go really fast when you're alone, and you can go so much further when you're on a team, and you can accomplish so much more. So that was something that was really implemented in the military and just throughout being an athlete as well. That's like everything is it's not a self accomplishment. Like even when you see some athletes on TV these days, it's like, oh, they're always talking about the stars, but it wouldn't be possible. They wouldn't be stars if it wasn't possible for the teammates around them,
For sure.
right? It's important to surround yourself with people that are going to ultimately, bring you up and make sure that you become the best version of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So being part of a team, huge, absolutely huge. Like, don't think that you have to do this life alone.
Um,
Like,
yeah, exactly. Don't be afraid to ask for help. You hear that so much where kind of like what you just said. You said it's not an accomplishment to just do it all on your own, really. There's no real reason that you need to do it all on your own. You can travel so much farther when you do have a team around you or just other people that are like-minded and also want to push you instead of drag you down. So yeah, definitely don't be afraid to ask for help. Definitely don't be afraid to try to get into a group that that these people are going forward and you want to go along with them. That's amazing. I haven't talked to a lot of people about that, so I think that that's really cool. Like you should be really trying to find a team, find a community that you can be a part of, because on those days that you don't feel like pushing, you don't feel like getting up and giving your 100% effort, those other people will be. I think that that's super important, man. What I would like to say that like what are I just kind of like to ask a little bit about you too. Like, what are some hobbies that you like to do? What are some things that you enjoy doing other than work, to kind of relieve either stress or help you kind of take some time off in a sense?
Great question. So, I mean, honestly, I love to surf.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely do still find myself leaning towards doing athletic things.
For sure.
It's been a minute since I played soccer, but if I can get around and kick the ball around, it's great. I mean, exercising,
For sure.
it's definitely something that's super important. It does definitely helps you keep the body in shape. And I do really enjoy cooking. I enjoy, preparing my food, knowing where it's coming from, knowing that I touched it, knowing that I personally, cleaned it and everything. In today's day and age with restaurants, you don't ever know what's really going on. And with, budgeting and stuff, they'll probably give you the cheapest quality of things, even if you're at like a high-end restaurant.
For
So it's
sure.
really important to just be in connection with your food. Another thing I'd say, yeah, just helping people.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoy like going, and I'll go to the beach, and if I see trash on the beach, I'll just pick it up,
Yeah, how
you
good
know?
does that make you feel? I don't think people talk about it enough. How energizing it can be to help someone or help other people or help the world. I think that's so true. I don't think people talk about that enough.
It's so true, man. Like I don't it's like it was funny. I ran into somebody the other day, and he's like, "Yeah," he's like, "Don't you feel good and bad at the same time?" I was like, "Yeah, I can definitely see that." It's like because you feel good that you're picking it up, but you're also like, "Man, why is there trash on this
Right.
beautiful area?" It's like it just goes overlooked, and so many people will just walk by the trash like, "Oh, this isn't my home."
Mhm.
It's like it is
It
your
is.
home. Just because you're not like sleeping on this specific area doesn't mean it's your home. So it's important that we just take care of this place, and treat it as if it was home, regardless of where you are. If you see some trash, just pick it up. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not going to cost you anything.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that once again, I think that there's a benefit behind it because one, it is our home. The earth in general is our home, and two, I feel like it it the feeling that you get from doing something good is going to give you so much more benefit than just the little time that you saved skipping over it. I feel like it just gives you so much more a better morality about yourself. You feel better. You feel like you are worthy of doing things that you deserve. I think that's so overlooked, and kind of like what you're saying is don't overlook that. Be the person to go pick it up. Yes, it takes a little bit of time, and yes, you're reminded of that, of how other people can take advantage of what we won't, but it's just you sometimes you have to be that person, and I think that's amazing. Those people that do that, they're the people that are going to save the planet. um, yeah, I mean, I think that's amazing. What I like to ask this as well is, what are you planning on doing? What are your goals for the near future or even long term? Whether it's to gain inspiration for yourself or for someone out there, what are you looking forward to doing and setting that goal for yourself right now?
So me personally, like I'm really excited about the potential that I have and what I'm really seeing, with being able to put resources into cleaning up this planet. For me personally, like I've seen a vision of this amazing technology, and I'm still figuring out how to bring it to form.
For sure.
Of being able to go out and have uh, have a technology that's going to help clean up the ocean, maybe in a different way. I know that there's some people already doing it. At the same time, like that one specific agency isn't enough.
For sure.
There's five different garbage patches that we've got in the ocean. It also comes to preventing it from even getting out there. So
Yeah.
there's a lot that we have to do, in the next coming years and future. The biggest thing that I'm reminded of is this isn't going to happen overnight. I know there's times where I'm like, yo, I'm ready for this to kind of manifest.
For sure.
What is it? At the same time, like just remembering that the things that are going to take longer are going to have way more gratification
Yep.
than the instant gratification that we can so easily become accustomed to because of social media,
Mm-hmm.
because of some of these things that we've, implemented into our current society. So yeah, I mean, I will first-handedly say it. I am not immune to instant gratification.
No one
There
is.
is there is those times where I'm like, yo, can this come sooner? And at the same time, like, yeah, just really, setting a either like a nonprofit organization or some sort of organization that's going to, be in collaboration. It's not competition with the ocean cleanup or any of those people. It's to be in collaboration, to be able to work together to, really make this a team effort to clean that up. And I know that there's other people out there like me, myself included. So if it means, starting from where I'm at with this current opportunity, then that's what it is. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, it's going to start in the homes first, and it starts with you changing first. So it's
Mhm.
like, cool, I've implemented it where, yeah, I'm not using plastics anymore. I'm not plastic water bottles. I'm not using chemical cleaners that are going to leach into the water as well, leach into the soil. Ultimately, everything goes back to the ocean, whether you're using chemicals or you're using, pesticides. It all seeps into the ground. It all ends up in a part of the earth cycle here. So it's just important to remember to take care of that. So that's really my goal, is like helping people. And also, like I said, I love helping people, and at the same time, like, I feel like I'm more destined to help our resources,
Mhm.
because why it may not directly be helping people, it's indirectly helping everybody,
For sure.
because it's going to leave longevity for the planet. And it's, it's not something that I was necessarily raised on. I think it's just, you look to indigenous wisdom, and you look to people that really respect the nature of our relationship, and that we're not separate from it, that we're a part of it.
Hmm. Yeah, like nowadays we seem so separated from it because of, how deep in the city you are or how far away you are from the process of getting your food or getting clean water. It's like we're such a hands off like type of society now where I just go to the store, I go to like a Walmart or something and grab my food. I don't even know how that food got there. And I don't know where my water is coming from. And I think that's very important is to learn that kind of what you were talking about earlier is getting in touch with and in sync with what you're putting in your body. If you're just someone that doesn't ever think about what goes in your body, you won't even know why you're feeling like crap. The more in touch you get with your body, the more you're going to start understanding why you feel certain ways. You can start eliminating things out of your diet or out of the stuff you're putting into your body that make you feel bad, and you'll start feeling better. And then, I mean, I've been a person because I used to be a personal trainer and I went to school for nutrition, and I was very into like understanding what goes into my body and why my body breaks down things certain ways. And once I started doing that, you start to understand why I want to just sleep during the day sometimes, why I don't sleep good, I have brain fog. And I think that's a skill that we're so out of touch with right now that if, as a society, if we start getting more in touch with that, we're gonna just the growth that we're gonna have as a society is gonna be so much better. The earth is gonna be so much cleaner, and I appreciate so much with what you're doing, and that's amazing. If you do want to go ahead and give a shout out to what you're doing and in a way for people that are listening to get in contact with you or in touch with you, we'd love to talk about it and kind of shed some light on that.
Yeah. So you can get in touch with me at on Instagram or Facebook. My Instagram is at Water is the Way to Unity. Basically, what that kind of signifies to me is like water is what unites us all. And whether it be the ocean that you're swimming in, or the water that you're drinking, or the rivers and lakes that you encounter, like, one way or another, it unites us all. Our bodies are 75% water, and the earth is 75% water. So there's a mirror going on there. And whether people understand this or not, we are all connected, and it happens to be through water. And just how we are on this planet. It's so easy to look at our differences and realize that we are, we may have a different skin color, or we may look different. At the end of the day, like, we all are made up of the same atoms and cells on a molecular level. So just remembering that there isn't really, while there is differences, there isn't. And that's something that really kind of signifies that for me. And as far as what I'm doing, I'm a part of a great movement as well, that I'm collaborating with, and I've helped establish, called Wakewater Co. And that's kind of where the water the water machines came into my life, and I'm extremely grateful for those like-minded people, because that's just where it all kind of started. It all
Hmm.
kind of started there, and birthing that and helping get them, established, with working on the back end of things that I did. And some of those people are really some of my great friends, and we've been able to, yeah, I mean, just the more and more people that see the vision of what these water machines can do, um, the more that people are going to get healthier, and the more that the planet's going to get healthier.
For sure.
And yeah, man, it's super important that we do that. And the water machines I'm specifically referring to are Kangen water machines out of Japan. They've been around for quite some time, and it's been life changing for me. Like I said, my health is significantly improved. Not going to make any claims on other people's stuff, but I've heard some very powerful stories, and I've seen a lot of other people's lives change as well.
That's amazing, man. We do really appreciate it. Last thing I want to end it with is, if you could give yourself some advice 5, 10 years ago, what would that be?
Oh,
Love this one.
yes, this one's good. Don't think that you know it all,
Okay.
and be open to the opportunities that come, and don't be so close-minded. I know something that I've done over time is I've really allowed myself to be more open to things, and open to opportunities, and open to not being so expectational on how things may turn out. It's really easy to look at some sort of opportunity and be like, wow, that's some sort of scam or something along those lines. It's like, be open to it, man. It's like, just because somebody else says something doesn't mean it is what it is. Like, find out for yourself, go through your own personal experience, and don't allow some negative person to outweigh what this could potentially do for you. Because if you listen to people like Bob Proctor, he literally was like, I was poor at one time, but I listened to somebody that saw something in me, and it changed my life completely. And it was so funny. He was like, if I saw a video the other day. He's like, if I would have done something different, I probably would have done what I was doing in network marketing.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of successful people like Robert Kiyosaki that recommend it, and it does get a bad rap. I mean, I get it. It's not perfect, but people are changing that, because you get to realize that, hey, like, it's people helping people, and it's not about feeding these large corporations that don't care about you. You go buy your McDonald's, you go buy your water bottle company. Do those people really care about you?
Mhm.
Probably not.
Right.
Probably not. Um, we've been taught to be employees. We didn't get taught properly. And a lot of these people that you come and encounter with have taught themselves through personal development, through things that are going to change your mindset, through learning how money actually works, because that's something that I really would have wished that I would have started learning about earlier,
For sure.
especially, you know, if they would have given that opportunity in school. And I know that that's on purpose.
Yeah. Right.
I know that that's on purpose, but it's like, yeah, just understanding that, money isn't the root of all evil. Money is something that flows beautifully like water. And when you can direct it where you want it to go, and you can help people with it, and realize that it's just a tool, it's so important for us. So, yeah, just be open to the possibilities, live in the totality of possibilities, because that's what we all do.
Hmm. That's awesome.
So,
And yeah, I love that. Yeah. Think about what can happen instead of what won't happen, or the negatives, man. That's awesome. Well, I really do appreciate it, Anthony. I thank you so much for being on here. Um, Once again, I'm gonna definitely talk to you a little bit more, and we'll keep it going, man.
yeah, man. Thank you.
Awesome.
I appreciate you.
Awesome. Thank you, and I'll talk to you later.